Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my channel Pharmacology Medicine. Today we'll discuss about ACE inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers. So at first, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. There are some drugs are included in angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. They are captopril, enalapril, ramipril, lisinopril, benzapril, fosinapril, moxapril, perindopril. These are the important drugs that we used in ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are used in case of mild to moderate hypertension. It is also used in hypertension with heart failure. It is also used in hypertension with chronic kidney disease. It is also used in hypertension with diabetic nephropathy. Sometimes some authors says that in which there is a high cardiovascular risky patient, if we give them ACE inhibitors, they are more chance to develop they are less chance to develop diabetes mellitus. So why we give ACE inhibitors in hypertension? What is the role of ACE inhibitors in hypertension? At first, ACE inhibitors acts on the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. If we discuss the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, it starts from angiotensinogen, where the renin is secreted from the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney. It converts the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, and the surface pulmonary epithelium, a enzyme is secreted over there, over kidney, and it acts on the kidney, that is angiotensin converting enzyme. It converts the angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 has several functions. One important function is it is a potent vasoconstriction. When the vasoconstriction occurs, there will be increased total peripheral resistance, and this total peripheral resistance ultimately increase the blood pressure. Another word is this angiotensin 2 secretes the aldosterone, and this aldosterone causes increased sodium and chloride reabsorption from the kidney into the blood, and increase the cardiac output, increase the preload, and increase our blood pressure. So this is the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. These ACE inhibitors, how it acts as in renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. This is the pathway, and ACE inhibitors are blocked the conversion of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2, where it inhibits the angiotensin 2 formation. When there is no angiotensin 2 formation, there will be no vasoconstriction, there will be vasodilation, there will be decreased peripheral resistance, ultimately decrease the blood pressure. And where there is no angiotensin 2 formation, the aldosterone could not be secreted, and aldosterone cannot reabsorb the sodium and water from the kidney into the blood. So that's why there will be a natriuresis, and there will be some diuresis also. So that's why the preload will be decreased, and ultimately decrease the cardiac output and decrease our blood pressure. These ACE inhibitors or angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors also acts in kallikrein-kininogen system. It converts the normally ACE angiotensin converting enzyme. If we start from the kininogen, kininogen is a mediator that converts into bradykinin through kallikrein. This bradykinin is converted into inactive metabolites through ACE. When we give ACE inhibitors, this bradykinin cannot be metabolite or cannot be inactive metabolite. So bradykinin cannot be break down. So no metabolism of bradykinin. So increase the level of bradykinin, it causes increase the secretion of nitric oxide, and it propagates or stimulates the prostaglandin secretion and stimulates the prostaglandin pathway, where the prostaglandin are synthesized, especially prostacyclin, where it causes vasodilation and that's why it decreases the total peripheral resistance, ultimately decrease the blood pressure. So again, why ACE inhibitors help in hypertension? By acting or stimulating the kallikrein-kininogen system. We again tell that ACE inhibitors do not metabolize the bradykinin. So bradykinin level in the lungs will be increased, and this bradykinin itself increase the prostaglandin synthesis as well as nitric oxide synthesis. When there will be nitric oxide and prostaglandin synthesis, these mediators, these cell mediators causes vasodilatation, and this vasodilatation decrease the total peripheral resistance, ultimately decrease the cardiac output and decrease the blood pressure. So these are the important two mechanisms of ACE inhibitors that's why we choose as a antihypertensive it. That's why ACE inhibitors are used in hypertension. One mechanism is it inhibits the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, so no angiotensin 2 will be not formed, and no angiotensin 2 formation, that's why there will be no vasoconstriction, there will be vasodilatation, there will be total peripheral resistance will be decreased, and ultimately cardiac output decrease, ultimately decrease the blood pressure. And it stimulates the kallikrein-kinesin system, where it inhibits the metabolism of bradykinin, and bradykinin cannot be metabolized, so the remaining bradykinin in the lungs, which itself causes increase the nitric oxide synthesis and as well as also synthesis of prostaglandins, especially the prostacyclin, which causes vasodilatation, and ultimately total peripheral resistance will be decreased and decrease the blood pressure. So this is the antihypertensive role of ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors also used in heart failure. In heart failure, there will be increase the preload and increase the afterload, where the ACE inhibitors decrease the preload and also decrease the afterload. How it decrease the preload and afterload? The same mechanism, it acts on the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. There will be no formation of angiotensin 2, so no vasoconstriction, it will be vasodilatation, and vasodilatation decrease the total peripheral resistance, decrease the afterload, decrease the blood pressure, and the aldosterone will not be secreted, and aldosterone cannot reabsorb the sodium and water from the proximal convoluted tubule. Ultimately, sodium and water are excrete out from the body and ultimately decrease the preload, and ultimately it decrease the cardiac output and decrease the blood pressure in case of heart failure. So these natriuresis and diuresis effects of ACE inhibitors decrease the preload, decrease the preload, decrease the cardiac output, and ultimately decrease the blood pressure. And that's why we choose ACE inhibitors in heart failure. And another mechanism of ACE inhibitors, it inhibits the cardiac remodeling. When ACE inhibitors inhibit the cardiac remodeling, and there will be no ventricular hypertrophy, and there will be ultimately the load of the heart will be decreased, and ultimately decrease the preload and decrease the end-diastolic volume, ultimately decrease the cardiac output, and ultimately not to decrease the cardiac output, and ultimately it decrease the preload, and that's why it is used in heart failure. It also acts in diabetic nephropathy, hypertension with diabetic nephropathy. We can also give ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors had important role in diabetes mellitus patient. At first role, it stabilizes the renal function. Renal hemodynamics will be stabilized by using ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors stabilize the renal function. It also decreases the proteinuria in case of diabetic nephropathy patient. How it causes stabilize the renal function? It decreases the efferent glomerular arterial pressure. Ultimately, it decreases the intraglomerular arterial pressure or intraglomerular pressure. Intraglomerular pressure, when it decreases, it increases the glomerular filtration and ultimately helps to excrete out the waste product from the kidney. So, the progression of diabetic nephropathy will be decreased in case of using ACE inhibitors in hypertension with a diabetic nephropathy patient. So that's why we choose ACE inhibitors in hypertension with a diabetic nephropathy. Sometimes chronic kidney disease with hypertension, or hypertension with chronic kidney disease, we give ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors diminish the proteinuria and stabilize the renal function. That's why ACE inhibitors are chosen for chronic kidney disease. It also decreases the mortality of the patient in case of chronic kidney disease. Some authors says that which patient have some cardiovascular cardiovascular risk, this patient also decrease the diabetes mellitus chance by using ACE inhibitors. So these are the important effect or important role of ACE inhibitors in different situation or different diseases. But there are some adverse effect of ACE inhibitors. One adverse effect, due to inhibit the metabolism of bradykinin, the synthesis of bradykinin will be increased by using ACE inhibitors, and these bradykinin act as a culprit in the lungs, which causes bronchoconstriction, or may causes increased vascular permeability itself, and causes the persistent dry, irritating, harassing cough. So in case of hypertension with bronchial asthma, we should never give the ACE inhibitors, and in case of hypertension with COPD, we should never give ACE inhibitors. Another important adverse effect of ACE inhibitors, that ACE inhibitors causes fast dose hypotension. This hypotension also occurs through its bradykinin, through its increased level of bradykinin. This bradykinin increase the prostaglandin synthesis, ultimately vasodilatation, and ultimately drop of blood pressure. And this drop of blood pressure you can manage by giving ACE inhibitors in low dose at a night time, and monitor the blood pressure. The another one thing is ACE inhibitors itself sometimes causes angioedema, and sometimes this angioedema also one of the adverse effect of ACE inhibitors that occurs through bradykinin. ACE inhibitors causes hyperkalemia. ACE inhibitors do not secrete the aldosterone secretion, so that's why aldosterone will not be secreted and sodium chloride will not be reabsorbed. So this sodium chloride is out of the body. Ultimately the potassium will be reabsorbed in the kidney tubules, and ultimately it leads to hyperkalemia. So in case of hyperkalemic patient, in case of diabetes mellitus, in case of COPD with hypertension, we should not give ACE inhibitors. There are another contraindications of ACE inhibitors, that ACE inhibitors should not give in bilateral renal artery stenosis patient. This patient should not give ACE inhibitors because it increases the renal shutdown of this patient through giving ACE inhibitors. And sometimes the solitary renal artery stenosis of a solitary kidney, renal artery stenosis of solitary kidney, we should not give ACE inhibitors, and in case of hyperkalemia, we should not give ACE inhibitors. Another contraindication of ACE inhibitors that is so much important, and in professional examination the examiners are preferred to ask this question: why ACE inhibitors cannot be given in pregnant period or in pregnancy. ACE inhibitors should not be given in second and third trimester of pregnancy, because it causes fetal hypotension, anuria, fetal renal shutdown, and also it causes malformation of the fetus, and ultimately fetal death will be occur. Intrauterine fetal death may be occur by using ACE inhibitors to control hypertension in pregnancy. So we should not give ACE inhibitors in pregnant women. ACE inhibitors is a highly teratogenic drug and highly risk of teratogenesis if we give ACE inhibitors to a pregnant lady. So be careful to use ACE inhibitors in pregnant situation or in pregnancy. Okay, that's all about ACE inhibitors. Now we'll discuss about ARB. The difference between ACE inhibitors and ARB, this question will come or came available in every professional examination of third phase, or in every third professional examination in pharmacology. The question of ACE inhibitors, the difference between ACE inhibitors and ARB are more common, and that question comes available. You have to answer this question very easily if you have such a knowledge about ACE inhibitors and ARB. Now ARB, angiotensin 2 receptor blocker or angiotensin receptor blocker. Angiotensin receptor blockers are losartan, valsartan, candesartan, irbesartan, olmesartan, telmisartan. These are the important drugs of ARB. there are some criteria of using ARB, there are some criteria of angiotensin receptor blocker. One thing, the first criteria of ARB, that uh, it does not hamper the metabolism of bradykinin. One thing is it. Second thing, ARB does not cause angioedema. The third thing, ARB also can be used in can be ARB can diminish the proteinuria and also stabilize the renal function. And another thing is ARB is completely block the angiotensin 2 receptor, and that's why angiotensin 2 cannot produce its function, that is vasoconstriction will not be produced by using ARB. So ARB is a quite good drug in case of where there will be contraindication of ACE inhibitors. We can give ARB, but ARB cannot be given in hyperkalemia, and ARB cannot be given in bilateral renal artery stenosis, and also ARB cannot be given in case of single kidney renal artery stenosis. ARB also cannot be given in pregnant lady, and it also has teratogenic effect. The mechanism of ARB is quite similar to ACE inhibitors, but it inhibits or it completely blocks the angiotensin receptor blocker. So that's why angiotensin cannot perform its function. One is vasoconstriction, so there will be vasodilation, ultimately decrease the total peripheral distance and decrease the cardiac output and decrease the blood pressure. And another one is it cannot secrete the aldosterone, so ultimately its natriuretic and diuretic effects leads the ARB to helps in heart failure and decrease the preload, and through vasodilatation it also decreases the afterload in case of heart failure patient. So what are the conditions that we use ARB? The conditions are, one is mild to moderate hypertension, the second one is hypertension with CKD, hypertension with diabetic nephropathy, hypertension with bronchial asthma, we can give ARB. There will be no contraindications of ARB in choosing in hypertension with bronchial asthma. So these are the important differences of ACE inhibitors and ARB. I hope you all like this video, and this video will help to write the written examination if their question comes from ARB or ACE inhibitors. And hope you will remind me when you write your exam paper this type of question. You can remember it, or you can memorize these things, or you can this video will be really helpful for you. Thank you.